Rock has a gift for Cody.
Owens tells Sami he's going to need a wheelchair.
And Hayes pulls a Guerrero. Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
And after a recap of last week and The Rock, we see Cody walking through backstage when he's greeted by the Dark Lord's minions, telling him that their master has laid on a locker room for him. Drop us a subscribe while you're here. I mean, you may as well. We're way funnier than the usual people you watch, well, for wrestling stuff anyway.
Back to normality, and we have Toronto's own Trish Stratus head into the ring. She says wrestling has a generational impact, and then picks out a little girl in the crowd and says, "Your dad probably had a picture of me on his wall when he was your age," adding, "the one with the heels and the crawling." Clear something she's wanted to get off her chest for a while. She's excited about tomorrow before introducing Tiffany Stratton. Good to see someone introduced and not interrupting for a change. Oh, and new name graphics as well.
They do look good, I think. Very good.
The two then did Trishy Tiffy time gesture before showing the backs of their tops and throwing them into the crowd. A bit clunky and awkward, a bit like us sometimes, but what are you going to do?
Well, that's it. They've been doing yoga together, and that's why they're going to be Jax and LeRae tomorrow. Maybe if Rhodes and Seth had done yoga together, they may have beaten Rock and Roman at WrestleMania Night 1 last year, but who knows. Anyway, they're then interrupted by Chelsea Green and Mountie Niven. More new name graphics to boot. Green says she deserves the airtime before claiming the people in America are better and that it's her time, not tacky time. Stratton offers to fight her. Green says no. Out comes a ref. We get a break, come back, and there's a match between Stratton and Green that has already begun.
A back suplex, clothesline and tumbling handspring and spinebuster get Stratton a 2 count, with Green then getting a 2 off a rough-looking Rough Rider. Tiffy then reverses an unprettier into a rolling senton and then double stomps Green. As she ascends the ropes, Niven pulls Green to safety, which brings in Stratus, who attacks Niven. Stratton then swantons out the ring onto Green and Niven, throws Green back in the ring and heads to the ropes again. As she does, Nia Jax and Candice LeRae show up, laying into Stratus, before Stratton then gets pulled out the ring by Jax. The ref calls for the bell as the heel team then beat on the faces. Double TS make a comeback, but Jax and LeRae escape up the rampway before any damage can really be done.
We see a video from earlier of Nick Aldis saying there's going to be a United States Championship tournament. LA Knight versus Santos Escobar, Braun Strowman versus Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade versus Solo Sikoa. The winners of these matches will then have a triple threat later, with the winner of that match becoming the number 1 contender to shadow Shinsuke's belt.
Backstage, we see Solo walking up to Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Fatu says that what happened last week was an accident. Solo answers saying, "Yeah, I'm sure it was an accident." Solo then says they need to make a statement and wants Jacob to bring home the United States Championship, gifting him his spot in the US title tournament, adding that everything he's doing to show the Samoan Werewolf how much he loves him.
We see Cody Rhodes next being told to enjoy a banquet that's been laid on for him by the final boss, with his minions telling him to enjoy. R-Truth's there on the couch, of course he is, and asks how Cody's got all this. Rhodes says it's what you get if you consider selling your soul to The Rock. Well, he is the soul man. I used to watch him and Tony Atlas a lot when I was little, responded Truth, and maybe you should think about it. The camera then focuses on a conflicted Rhodes before we head back to the ring to watch Andrade take on Jacob Fatu.
Andrade steals his ex-father-in-law's over-the-top rope in the corner at the ring move before re-entering with a crossbody from the top turnbuckle, before Andrade sends Fatu out the ring and follows with a moonsault. We hit a break and come back to both men fighting in the ring, with Jacob going for a pop-up Samoan drop, which is reversed into a poison rana. A double crossbody then drops both men before Andrade sets up for a Meteora. He's stopped by a shoulder charge from Fatu, but dodges a hip attack. Andrade does then manage to hit his double knees in the corner and goes for the missed moonsault into standing moonsault, covering Fatu for 2. Fatu then splats Andrade, thank you for that, Joe Tess, hits his hip attack twice, spike impaler DDTs, and then finish Andrade with a moonsault. Jacob covers, Jacob wins, Jacob moves to the triple threat, penciled in for later.
Next, we see Nick Aldis speaking with the Street Profits from earlier today and asking what's going on. Profits say they ain't stopping what they're doing when Santos Escobar and his boys roll up. Santos wants an apology. Dawkins says they ain't getting one, with Aldis then stepping in and making a match between the Profits and Los Garza, which is next.
Los Garza are already in the ring when we see the Street Profits make their way down, but as they do, they're attacked from behind by DIY. Team Garza then leave the ring and beat up DIY, with the Profits then also beating on DIY. Pretty Deadly then head out and start on the Profits. DIY get back in the ring and beat up PD. Motor City then head out and beat up DIY. All 5 tag teams then end up in the ring and brawl, eventually being separated by more than useless backstage security. Now this is looking good for the 5-way ladder match at WrestleMania, which I think you called on the Musings video.
Yes, I did.
So go check that out.
Next, we see Drew McIntyre, who comes across Cody Rhodes in the back. Not replying straight away to The Rock told Drew a lot, and he doesn't know what The Rock's going to do when Cody says yes, and the final boss finds out Cody sold his soul a long time ago.
We then see Cena from the post-show of the Royal Rumble saying he's in the Elimination Chamber and watch a video package of him in the past chambers. We hear a voice saying, "Cut it off now, it's Drew McIntyre." He gets on the announcer's desk and calls Cena a hypocrite before adopting a CM Punk style pose on the aforementioned desk and laying into John. He wonders what past John Cena would say of present John Cena, saying he only comes back for ego trips and his bold spot needs its own area code. But this is what past John Cena would say of himself.
Drew says he's going to bury Cena in the chamber, when out comes Damian Priest. He tells Drew enough and that R-Truth makes more sense than him. Drew says he was screwed. Priest says he has a weird obsession with Punk, which led to his downfall last year. The crowd then chant for Punk. Priest offers to drop Drew, telling him to get in the ring. McIntyre says, okay, but before he can, out comes Seth Rollins. After talking about the Money in the Bank cash-in and how he would have beaten Priest if it wasn't for Drew, Seth wants to talk about the future and says no one stands a chance in the chamber. Out comes CM Punk.
Punk says Seth looks like an oven mitt. Has no beef with Priest and says Drew's obsessed with him, but Punk is obsessed with WrestleMania. This is not about you, it's about me, says Punk. Seth fires back saying Punk will not main event WrestleMania, not over his dead body. Drew pipes up saying Punk's due an injury, with Priest then questioning why Drew's talking, because everyone knows after the chamber all he's going to do is complain about it on the internet. Seth continues his tirade at Punk as Drew steps up to Priest.
John Cena's music then hits and out comes Logan Paul. Paul says us full-timers are out here putting in the work while John Cena can't even show up. Classic celebrity wrestler, which is a nice line, well written for him. Logan then rips on all the other chamber entrants before asking how Punk's jaw is after he slapped it on Monday. Punk said he'd show Paul and headed up the rampway. Logan legged it backstage before Punk could get close enough.
We then see the Women's Elimination Chamber women having a similar get-together from earlier today. Michael Cole asks Liv Morgan about attacking Jade Cargill when Bianca Belair runs out and attacks her. We then cut to all 6 women brawling on the stage and we get told there's going to be a 6-woman tag match later of Bayley, Naomi and Bianca against Morgan, Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez.
Up next, another United States tournament match between LA Knight and Santos Escobar. Pretty basic to start with nothing exceptional happening, and even when we come back from a break we get chopping, booting and locking in stretchers. We then get on the top rope with Santos hitting a Super Rana but only getting a 2 count cover. Santos goes back up on the turnbuckle looking for a crossbody, but Knight catches him mid-air with a BFT, which looked like an RKO. LA landing chest first though rather than back first on the mat. Knight then covers Santos for the win and progresses. Wade Barrett even on comms saying a BFT out of nowhere. Is LAK the new RKO?
Out next, Sami Zayn. He knows KO is here and asks him to step out so they can say their final piece to one another. We then hear from Kevin Owens, who's at the Rogers Centre, where Elimination Chamber will take place. Owens says he's not a bad guy, and what's coming to Sami tomorrow he fully deserves, before saying it's all Sami's fault. He also says he's going to put Sami in a wheelchair and watch for his family suffer. A bit strong for a light entertainment show there.
Calm yourself, KO.
Sami admits he's nervous, but not for him, for Owens, and what he's going to do to him. Sami is prepared to end Kevin Owens, with Kevin Owens then saying, "See you tomorrow night."
Yeah, I thought this was just a bit of light-hearted entertainment. Why has it gone so dark?
So serious.
Next we see Mello Don't Miz, with Miz saying it's all's him. Hayes heads off for his match when Cody Rhodes enters shot. Miz asks him what he's going to do. Cody says he's not decided yet. Miz tells Cody that he wants more and suggests the only way he's going to get it is if he takes The Rock's offer. If he doesn't, someone else will.
Next out, and last match in the United States #1 Contenders Tournament, Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Strowman. Strowman tosses Hayes around the ring, with Hayes then rolling out, only to be caught by the Strowman Express. Braun throws Hayes back in the ring when Tama Tonga heads out and gets on the apron, distracting the ref. Solo then hits Braun from behind with a chair, which Strowman shrugs off and catches the chair from another chair shot by Solo. Throws the chair in the ring and then dispatches Sikoa and Tonga and then re-enters the ring.
Hayes, though, has the chair in hand, but the ref's more concerned with Bloodline 2.0, so isn't looking. Obviously. Hayes hits the mat with a chair, tosses it to Strowman, who catches it, and then lays down as if he's been hit. The ref turns around, sees Strowman with a chair, and assumes he's used it. Well, he did hear it hit something, and Hayes is down. What's he supposed to think? The ref puts 2 and 2 together, gets 5, and calls for the bell, DQing Strowman, with Hayes taking the last spot in the #1 Contenders match. He lies, he cheats, he steals. Brilliant from Carmelo Guerrero. After the match, Strowman powerbombs Tama in the middle of the ring.
In the locker room, we see Bayley, Naomi and Bianca all saying they want a piece of Liv Morgan before we have the 6-woman tag match. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Bayley, Bianca Belair and Naomi.
All 6 brawl in the ring before we're left with Niv against Naomi. Liv ends up out the ring with Naomi tagging in Bayley, who dives out at her, Perez and Rodriguez. I think we had a break then because we cut to Rodzilla beating on Bayley in the ring, with Bayley making the tag to Belair and Belair entering the ring via a crossbody to Raquel. After a 2-count cover from Belair following her tumbling moonsault, Belair lays into Rodriguez with mounted punches, with Naomi then tagging in and getting nowhere as she gets dumped on the top rope by Raquel. Perez tags herself in, suffering a bulldog from Naomi, with Naomi then tagging in Bayley.
Bayley enters the ring via flying elbow and covers Perez. Morgan breaks the pin on 2. Everyone then gets in the ring, takes everyone else out, leaving Bayley and Roxanne to fight it out. Bayley counters a pop rocks, with Perez then countering a Bayley to belly and hitting her finisher, which does for Bayley as Perez covers her for the 3 count. After the match, Perez points at the WrestleMania sign, with Alexa Bliss then appearing behind her, Abigail DDTing her and talking a little smack. We then get a Wyatt 6 screen glitch.
Backstage with Byron Saxton now, and he's with Charlotte Flair. He asks her what she thinks of Stratton and Stratus teaming up. To be honest, Byron, I don't think she gives a shit. But she thinks it's cute, and when the smoke's cleared, Stratton's going to have a bigger problem to deal with.
We get a vignette from Shinsuke Nakamura next, who says he's an honourable champion. I say an honourable champion wouldn't hide in the shadows.
And I second that. We then see Solo Sikoa telling Jacob he took care of Braun Strowman and that all he has to do now is finish the job. Fatu heads to the ring, telling us the US title's coming his way, followed by Hayes and then Knight.
So, last match of the night, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu versus Carmelo Hayes in a triple threat to become #1 contender for the United States Championship. Knight bulldogs Fatu from the top rope, which Jacob no-sells, before charging at Knight, who drops the top rope, sending Fatu out the ring. Knight then slams Hayes and hits him with a top rope elbow, but Fatu gets back in the ring before Knight has chance to cover and throws him from the ring. All 3 fight on the outside, with Hayes and Knight taking in turns to beat on the werewolf. The Samoan takes himself out though after stacking up his opponents against the timekeeper's barrier and running at them, only for them to dodge out the way and Jacob go over the barrier himself. We zoom in on Fatu's face and in the blink of an eye, or I had a power nap, we're all back in the ring with Jacob in control.
Fatu tosses Hayes and Nyes about the ring before missing a senton to Hayes, with Hayes then capitalising and hitting his springboard DDT. Jacob, being the hard nut he is, isn't affected at all, performing a pop-up Samoan drop to Hayes before he himself suffers a jumping neckbreaker from Knight. Knight covers, but only for 2. LA and Fatu then trade blows, with Hayes coming back and hitting a first 48 on Knight as Knight was setting up Fatu for a BFT. I think Hayes actually got both men with the move. Hayes covers LA, but only for 2.
Knight hits a springboard crossbody to Jacob, who's on the outside, landing on the announcer's desk, with Hayes then rolling the megastar back in the ring, hitting nothing but net from the top turnbuckle and covering for 2. But really 3, because the ref stopped counting after 2 as he was waiting for Fatu to swanton from the top rope to break the pin. Fatu hits Hayes with an impaler DDT and then moonsault, but as he covers Hayes, Knight pulls him from the ring, dazing Fatu as he hits the floor. Knight dives back in the ring and covers Hayes and gets the 1, 2, 3.
You think we're done? Oh, we're not done, as we see Cody walking backstage when he happens upon CM Punk. Punk says he wants your soul. What is that about? Rhodes says he doesn't know, and neither do we. Punk says he's on top of the world. What could he possibly offer you? Which is exactly what I've been saying. There is nothing that he wants. Punk then asks what young Cody would have done, because young Punk would have taken it in a heartbeat. Yeah, because you had nothing then. Cody has everything now, and I will keep banging this drum until the cows come home. There is nothing Cody wants. Punk says he has no love for Dwayne, and that he'd love to see Cody take the offer. Cody says, what? With Punk saying, follow me now, take the offer, shine it up real good, turn that son sideways and shove it up his part-time Hollywood candy ass. Punk, clearly a fan of Best Era, Attitude Era. Punk says he'll see Cody in the main event at WrestleMania, as we then hit a break, come back and see Michael Cole introducing Cody Rhodes down to the ring.
7.5 minutes left. What's he going to say? Because he ain't given his answer until Elimination Chamber, so what is the point of this?
No point.
Cole asks Rhodes what may happen if he accepts the offer, but then interrupts Cody as he thinks he's stalling. Cole says he could have it all. Become the corporate champion, have all the money, decide who to defend his title against, and even be on the board. No more European tours, he could be home with his wife and daughter. Cole really rooting for The Rock here. Cole then interrupts himself, saying he's been told there's a special gift here for Cody. Hope it's not the same gift at the end of the 7th film.
Good film. A massive car then drives onto the entranceway, emblazoned with Cody's logo. As Rhodes heads out the ring and approaches the truck, we see The Rock appear on the screen behind. Rock says Cody's going to make the decision of a lifetime and do the right thing. Rock got him the truck because he knows Cody likes driving on the open roads, on the dangerous roads, the beautiful roads, and the dusty roads. Rock says he's been talking to his daddy, pours himself a pot of coffee, starts singing, and then says they'll embrace and Cody will give him his soul. Rock then says he had a gift made for him and pulls up a weight belt from his shoulder. The belt, as you can see here, has a date on it, the date being that of Dusty Rhodes' passing. Rock finishes by saying, I love you, brother. See you in Toronto. SmackDown goes off the air with Cody looking more confused than ever, and to be fair, so are we. I mean, we'll tune in anyway for the Elimination Chamber.
Obviously. Because
we want to see what the hell he's on about. And whatever Cody says. But this not appeal to anybody else, because they'd be like, what is this? Isn't it? Lunacy. Absolute lunacy.
What's going on? Any thoughts or views that you'd like to share, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below.
Don't forget to go check out our musings video with thoughts and opinions on the last week of WWE. And this week we covered The Rock being, well, weird. A new one drops every Wednesday. Thank you again for watching.
And don't forget to join us Sunday for our look at the Elimination Chamber.